All right, thanks again, everybody, for attending, and I'd like to welcome Mark Mann to talk about the Hire Vets Medallion program. Mark.
Well, good morning, all. Almost afternoon, but my name is Mark Mann. I am the friendliest vet rep in the state of Minnesota. I'm also working on the 5-state area, but I'm here instead of David Say today, like it was said, he had a family emergency, and I will be having the pleasure of providing the information on training on the Hire Vets Medallion program. And I've worked with David Say for quite a few years now, and I've been to a lot of his medallion programs, and I think it's an awesome way to support the vets. So the goal today, their agenda, is to provide employers exposure to the medallion program, and it's the Hire Vets Act. The why it benefits the HVMP, and we're going to look at how to get the qualifications, how to apply, the process, and then the 2022 timeline. And we'll get into all this real quick later, but this is just kind of an overview. So the Honoring Investment in Recruiting Employment American Military Veterans Act of 2017 was signed by the President on May 5th, 2017. The purpose is to recognize the employers who hire and retrain veterans along their efforts to establish employee development programs and veteran-specific benefits to improve retention. And that is one thing that, as leavers, your local veterans employment rep, which I am, and Shannon is also, that's one of our main things, is to get veterans recruited by employers to employ them, and the retention after that. So before I go into the details regarding the application process and criteria of the reward program, I believe it's imperative to cover the why behind the program. The why is what really matters, and you'll probably agree that if you can find a way to come back to the purpose and why, what we want to do is we want to lead to a greater motivation and support of the program. So we have thousands of jobs to fill, but not enough skilled workers to fill them. Our state is not alone. Employers in our state across the country are looking for ways to bridge the gap. One of those ways is recruiting and hiring transitioning service members and veterans. Those service members and veterans gain valuable skills while they served and demonstrated the abilities to be trained. There are 165,000 transitioning service members every year entering the civilian workforce, and employers around the country are in competition for their valuable workforce skills and services, which leads us into the purpose and the benefit of the HVMP program. It is the only veteran hiring program at the federal level. The award demonstrates the employer's commitment to hiring and supporting veterans and their families. Award recipients will have the opportunity to utilize the medallion, platinum or gold, in the marketing of their firm as a veteran-ready business, which will be valued both recruiting and promotion, which will be valuable in both recruiting and promotion. Competition for this award should lead to the increased focus on retaining veterans for the significant skill sets that they bring to the American workforce. Award recipients are showing that the business cares about the veterans and the values and the sacrifices they made for our country. Also, the HVMP reward program can help provide a roadmap for those employers that want to demonstrate these same efforts but are coming up short in some criteria. We can also use the opportunity to assist employers in those areas and leverage the services provided by our American Job Centers. And when being this is a federal program, they say American Job Centers, but that's your career force locations, that AKA workforce centers that used to be. We are now the career force. So now we'll talk about how to apply for the award. The award qualification criteria is different depending on the level of the award of the size of the employer. The platinum is the highest award level, followed by gold. The following slide contains a chart that shows the criteria for each level of the award depending on the size of the employer. Also, the website has a link to review the 2020 criteria for each employer size, along with a sample application that can be downloaded. I'll navigate the part of the website that now covers the criteria for each. The small employers have 1 to 50 employees. For a platinum award, a small employer must have 10% of their new hires to be veterans, or at least 85% of the veterans hired be retained for 12 months, or at least 10% of the employees are veterans. Additionally, they must have at least 2 of the following: veteran organization or resource group, a leadership program, human resources veterans initiative, a pay differential program, a tuition assistance program. For a gold for small employers, they must have at least 7% of their new hires be veterans, or at least 75% of the veterans hired retained for 12 months. They do not have to satisfy any of the Veterans Integration Assistance Program requirements. Both platinum and gold awards for small employers require a $90 application fee. Medium employers have 51 to 499 employees. Both the platinum and gold awards must be met in the same percentages requirements listed for small employers. However, the platinum award winners must have veteran organization or resource group and a leadership program for one of the following: Human Resources Veterans Initiative, a pay differential program, and a tuition assistance program. The gold winners must have one of the following: the Veterans Organization or Resource Group, a leadership program. Both platinum and gold awards for medium employers requires a $190 fee. Finally, the large employers have more than 500 employees. The Platinum Award winners must have at least 10% of their new hires be veterans and have at least 85% of their veterans that are hired be retained for 12 months. Gold Award winners must have at least 7% of their new hires and veterans and have at least 75% of the veterans that are hired be retained for 12 months. Platinum Award winners must have all the following: veteran organization or resource group, a leadership program, human resources veterans initiative, a pay differential program, and tuition assistance program. Gold winners must have the first two: the veterans organization or resource group and leadership program. The large employers have a $495 application fee and either the platinum or gold award application. Any size business applying for either award level must have or must not have any DOL veteran labor law violations under USERRA, the Uniformed Service Employment and Reemployment Rights Act, or the VEVRA, the Vietnam Era Veterans Readjustment Assistance Act. Those are really hard words to say. No, I'm just kidding. All right. To apply, employers must access the applications via the hirevets.org website and then submit them electronically. Employers can receive the status updates and email alerts while their application is being reviewed. There are sample platinum and gold application forms available for download at the website currently. The DL will validate the information submitted with the application and check with compliance with the DOL veteran labor laws to ensure there hasn't been any infraction that could affect eligibility of the reward. USERA, signed into law in 1994, protects the civilian employment and active and reserve military personnel in the U.S. called to active duty, or U.S. called into active duty. And the VEVRA, that is aimed to provide assistance to returning Vietnam veterans to protect them from employment discrimination. The Hire Vets Medallion program is a volunteer program. All applications must provide the required information in order to qualify for the award. And it gets a little better here in a little bit, just for the simple fact that this is a voluntary program, and it'll get into why you have to pay your fee, why there's fees. So,
Hey, Mark,
yeah.
we do have a question if I can interrupt really quick. Can you go back one slide?
Yep.
All right, so we do have a question about this. It's the question is, do veterans have to be protected vets, or can they be anyone who has served?
Anyone that has served.
So everybody
can't,
understand the term veteran is kind of a catch-all term, right? And there are some agencies or groups or programs, federal or state, that more narrowly define what a veteran is. But for our purposes, a veteran is anybody who has served in the U.S. military.
At least one day.
At least one day.
Yep. Did that answer it?
I hope so.
Okay. So get to the home page, and this is a really friendly website. So to apply, you go to the home page at Hire Vets, simply click apply for the Hire Vets Medallion program. Right there in a big red square. The employer will either need to log into their account if they already have one, or click register now to set up an account. They should have their business name and email address as a minimum to get started on an account. You may be wondering why there is a cost to apply for a voluntary reward program. When the program was created, there were no funds appropriated, meaning no taxes are being spent to support this program. It is self-funded. The application fees received are being used to run the program, including the administration and marketing. Also, only employers that are found to be eligible and receive an award are charged the application fee. If we've done a good job driving home the purpose and the benefits of the award, then hopefully there won't be any questions about the application fee. So basically, if you get the award, you spend the application fee. If you didn't get the award, you're not charged anything. So the applications are being accepted between January 1st, 2022 through April 30th, 2022. Now, we've already went past 2021 awards, so this will be starting January 1st of next year. They'll finish reviewing applications no later than August 31st. And then the select the employers to receive the Hire Vets Medallion Award no later than September 30th, 2022. And what I think is neat about this website, you can actually go on this website and see who has got these awards all throughout the states. They'll have little dots where their company is. You click on it and it'll tell them if they got a platinum or gold. And they'll announce the names of the award recipients at the time to coincide with the Veterans Day on Friday, November 11th, 2022.
Hey, Mark, if I can add, you mentioned earlier in one of the slides about this basically providing free advertising and marketing for an organization, and it's true. This, when the award winners are announced, like everybody that's part of this program finds out about it. We all know about it. We know which companies are dedicated for the vets. And it really does help. It'll help to just keep visibility on your company and your organization's commitment. So this gets shared not just with us, but it gets shared with other vet groups around the country, including in the state. So keep that in mind. You are by being a part of this, you are expanding your reach of your company and your available positions quite a bit.
And you'll also be able to put this right on your website, put the medallion right on your website. I believe you get a medallion to hang in your office. I'll have to check in with Dave on that though. So there are a number of resources and tools that you can use to help market and promote the HVMP reward program from the HVM homepage. Use the resources and tools to find program information, toolkits, marketing materials, plus graphics and widgets. These are the only approved marketing materials currently available from DOL. We can't make and distribute our own promotional materials without first getting approval from the national office. The information provided on the website should be all you need to help spread the word and give employers the information and details they need in order to apply. So this is marketing materials for us to market the program and marketing materials for you. So on this one, you got the program criteria. You can take that and you can get some of those, hand out to your employees, and this is what we need to do. The fact sheets. Postcards are what we use to help employers know about the program. Anything to add there, Shannon?
Well, we did get a question. Are we able to connect with a liaison to see if we qualify and make sure that we meet all the qualifications? Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think, Dave has contact at the end of all of this, and we'll get into that a little bit more about who you can reach out to. But yes, we will absolutely make sure that you have a point of contact to answer any and all questions that you have for this. Remember, we're pinch hitting right here, or for this event for Dave C. So we're trying to do our best to get this information out. We might not have all the answers to the questions, but we'll do our best and absolutely get you connected to Dave or a representative to help you with anything else. But please don't let that sway you against making or asking questions. We want all of these questions to continue to come in. Thank you.
And I believe you can go right onto their website, and when you're filling out the application, if you fill it out to what your company is, it'll tell you right there if you've qualified or not. You're not going to get charged unless you do qualify. So you could go that way also. So we went really quick here. We'll get you back to work in a jiffy. So in conclusion, I want to quickly go back over the why and the benefits of Hire Vets Medallion program. The award demonstrates an employer's commitment to hiring and supporting veterans and their families. The award recipients will have the opportunity to utilize the medallion in the marketing of their firm as a veteran-ready business, valuable in both recruiting and promotion. Competition for the award should lead to an increased focus on hiring and retaining veterans for a significant skill set that they bring to the American workforce. And I don't think we have anybody from Iowa, but they can use it also for an opportunity to assist employers who want to increase their hiring and retention efforts with veterans while marketing and leveraging all the services provided in the AJCs, the American Job Centers. So it's recognition. You're a veteran-ready employer. And it just, when a service member gets out of the service, it's tough. That transitioning from military to civilian life, it can be tough. I mean, anywhere from, I remember getting out and thinking, what am I going to wear today? I was so used to putting on the uniform every day. I didn't know what I was supposed to wear to an interview. So this just helps show that you are veteran friendly. You have a way of bringing in vets. And it's one way of also working with us to get your name out there. So remember, it's www.hirevets.gov. It's very user-friendly, and you'll surely find all you need there. If not, don't hesitate to reach out to, not me, but David. David Say is the state director of DOL Vets, and his email's right there, and his phone number is there. And you can contact him either way.
Yeah, so to go back to something you said in the previous slide, it said something about retaining veterans, proven record of recruiting, hiring, and retaining veterans. Everybody here that is a recruiter or works in HR, you understand the significant cost that poor retention has on your organization and on your, it just compounds your recruiting costs. So anything that you can do to help with retention is going to be valuable. And if this program can help you to keep your veterans employed within your organization, it's going to be great for you. Within our program, we talk a lot to companies, to business leaders, and we talk about the benefits and the value of hiring a veteran. We're obviously no better than anybody else that's in the job market or the workforce, but our service has provided very specific qualities and attributes that kind of get beat into us from the very beginning. And granted, we're all human beings, and we show those qualities to different levels and degrees. But some of the basic things are punctuality, loyalty, dedication, a desire to succeed, that drive. There's a lot of characteristics that you want to see in your employees, and veterans come to the table with those already ingrained. So retaining them is super important, and finding them to join your team is equally important. So utilizing a program like this to set yourself out above other employers to show that commitment and dedication is a really great way for you to really stand out. You can go back to the final slide.
Okay.
So yeah, you have questions about it, contact Dave. There's his information right there. You want to get started on it, contact Dave or start with the website. But this isn't the end all be all of your commitment to hiring vets. That should be something that is a consistent process that you incorporate into your daily recruiting plans. And one way that you can ensure that your jobs get out there to the veteran community is to make sure that you're connected to your vet rep. So if you just email veterans.careerforce@state.mn.us, I'll put that in the chat. Email our program and we'll get you connected to the appropriate vet rep. You can also go to our website. I'll put that in too. So there's two separate sections for it. There is when you go on to careerforcemn.com/veterans, you have first up the job seeker. Then below that is employer. Click on employer, you'll be taken to that page that has a number of resources. One of the things in there is also a guide from, I think, the SHRM Foundation that talks about how to create an effective veteran recruitment plan. So definitely check that out. You can download that. It's like a 45-page PDF or something like that, but go on there, download it. Now from that website, you also can go a little bit lower down on the page and you can click on a link that says find your vet rep. That's us. So just click on that and find us. I'll also include the link in the chat. make it a little easier for you. All right. So do we have any questions? Had any of you participated in the Hire Vets Medallion program in the past?
I have a question, actually. I'm just curious, like you went over all the criteria it takes to get this medallion or this award. Once a company receives that, is that something they have to continually apply for year after year, or do they just get that designation and then that they're always considered part of that program?
I believe it's a yearly thing that you have to apply for.
Yeah, things can change within the makeup of an organization and how you are representing veterans could change year to year. So yeah, it might seem like a hassle, but you're also being able to share with the Department of Labor, this is the Federal Department of Labor Vets group. You're also able to show them your continued commitment, not just an expectation that you'll get the award every time, automatically, but that you're showing that commitment each year by continuing to apply as well. So then the question becomes, does that mean we're paying the fee every year? I don't know.
I don't know either. That might be, it might say right on the website when you go apply, or it might have a description on the website, or it might have to be a question for David C.
And plus, remember the fee for those award recipients, their application fee is what supports the program to make it actually float. Without that money, it can't be self-sustaining. Without those fees, it can't be self-sustaining. So it may require that every year you pay the fee, but it helps to create this program and keep it running and give you that ability to have that designation as a Hire Vets Medallion award winner. Yeah.
And this might, and if you think about it, if you're a federal contractor, this could be a good thing to show like good faith effort for hiring vets. I know working with me or Shannon shows good effort towards hiring vets. And that is something, so if you get audited for that kind of stuff, this is something that would go towards that also.
And keep in mind, I mean, this is a commitment. This isn't a one and done thing. This is a commitment to hiring veterans. And, there are some companies where it makes, more sense for them, more business sense for them to not be concerned with who they hire and more concerned with the volume of candidates and just the bodies in the seats, and that's fine. That's fine. This program isn't for those companies. This program is for companies that want to dedicate effort to veteran recruitment and veteran issues. So we're not asking for the companies that just want hundreds and hundreds of people to fill seats that recruit at such a high volume as that are not specific or not targeted recruitment. We want companies that actually feel a pull to hiring vets and supporting the veterans within the state. So if this doesn't work for you, then that's absolutely fine, and you don't have to feel bad about it. But if this does work for you, then absolutely keep pushing to pursue it. And we want to do everything we can to help you get there.
One of the things that when they say 75%, or when they say there are some companies out there that don't know how many vets work for them. I always say take time on Veterans Day and just say you have a thank you card for all the veterans of the company. The veterans will say they're a veteran. And it's one way of kind of getting a count, or maybe it's a thank you coffee mug, or maybe, it's something. And just saying thank you to the vets that do work at your company. And I know there are some companies out there that there are 5 people in a crew and 2 of them might be vets and they don't know it because they haven't talked about it. Well, it does create some camaraderie towards some of those vets once they find out others are vets. So it's another way of looking, maybe setting up, mentor groups within your company. A brand new vet gets out of the service, and you have another vet in the same crew. Make them a mentor. It doesn't hurt. And it retains that veteran that you just hired.
And you make a really good point, Mark. There a lot of companies don't know who their vets are, and understand, there are a lot of companies out there in your application process. You might ask a question about protected vet status, and that's great if you want to give consideration to veterans. But you should understand that Minnesota is a state that is pretty well detached from any military. We've got um, Camp Ripley up north a little bit, but that's really about the only military presence there is. Other than that, the closest thing is Fort McCoy in Wisconsin, and that's a reserve base. I say this because there is an overabundance of stigma around veterans. And, we try to deal with that, especially, talk about that, especially in our first session in this series. But if you've got veterans in your organization and your application process clearly asks them to self-identify and they choose not to, you have to ask yourself why that is. And oftentimes it's because veterans don't feel like it's a good idea for them to self-identify when they're applying. Some feel that that stigma will follow them around. And I've experienced it myself. I served 22 years in the Army. I retired in 2016, moved back here to glorious, beautiful Minnesota. And I went through a slew of interviews where recruiters and hiring managers asked me a lot of questions that made it very obvious that they believed that, one, I was incapable of working in an organization that didn't have clearly set and defined tasks and actions. Like, I couldn't think on my feet. They also made it seem like I would be incapable of working in an organization that didn't have a very structured hierarchy. Like, here's the president, CEO, here's all the chain of command. And nothing could be further from the truth.
Yep.
Veterans are trained. I mean, everything that we do is in an ever-changing environment where we have to think on our feet. We have to be flexible. We can't be unbending. And so again, all this to say that vets in your organization that choose not to self-identify do that for a reason. And oftentimes it has nothing to do with the pride of their service. It has to do with the fear of them being pigeonholed into a certain type of person within the organization. So please keep that in mind as well.
Good point.
Do we have any other questions or comments?
I have a question.
Yep.
Do you have any additional resources when it comes to setting up a veterans resource group?
Maybe. So it's really kind of just a thing that you would do it that works internally for you, and they can look very different. We're actually in the process of putting one together ourselves, but we have to follow very specific state requirements to be able to do that. So what we experienced to set that up might be very different than you. But I would just Google veteran resource groups, or you could also look up online, look up Beyond the Yellow Ribbon. So one of the requirements to be what's called a Beyond the Yellow Ribbon company, which is they're companies that are specifically more involved into the veteran community, not just for hiring and stuff like that, but they're a part of the veteran community, the local veteran community. But just look up Beyond the Yellow Ribbon and see what you can find there for their recommendations for resource groups. To be a Yellow Ribbon employer or Yellow Ribbon designated employer, you kind of have to have an employee or a veterans employee resource group. So they should have all of the ideas and content there. If you can't find anything, Gwen, please reach out to me. I'll put my email in the chat. If I can click on the right screen. And I'll make sure that you get connected.
Sorry, I took David Zay's stuff off.
That's okay. We know you just wanted people to see the bigger version of you, Mark.
I accidentally clicked on a button I shouldn't have.
That's all right. As long as you don't stop the recording. All right. Anything else? Well, if nobody has any other questions or there's no other comments, obviously we'll give you back some time today. But really want to thank you for coming to this. You know, this Veterans Recruitment Series has been a great opportunity just to share best practices for each of you to just be able to get more vets into your organization and retain them. And that's what all of this was about. So thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for your dedication to hiring vets. And we sincerely hope that this info that was presented over these last 4 weeks has been helpful, and it will help you to be able to expand your veteran recruitment plan. Now, remember, this is just the beginning. The vet reps for the state are eager to connect to each and every one of you to help bridge that gap between your opportunities and the qualified veterans that are looking for companies, you know, within the area. So again, don't hesitate to reach out to us. I put the contact information up there earlier. Just email veterans.careerforce@state.mn.us or go to www.careerforcemn.com/veterans. Thank you all very, very much, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you.